rejection is such a thing I can grab onto. But kindness and kindness ends the battle that rejection has. So I had a recent experience where I was, I have a very nice room. It's a corner room at Ethan, and it's got windows and lots of sun and a view of the lake and the mountains. It's pretty cool. And I love how I get to have a private room because I do a lot of work online and I would disturb a roommate. But I got the word right before the course started, the pillar, that I was going to have to move. And I was going to be sent to a room that I would be heard in the space. But mostly this part of me was like, nobody asked me. There's no consulting here. And I was like amazed at how my reaction flared with such resistance. And I mean, I was in prison. I was in a place where you had no control. I was in a prison cell, and then I was transferred to a better place, but it was a room the size of the room I'm in, but with 6 guys, 3 bunk beds. And, you know, I learned to live with that. And I've lived in ashrams and done, you know, the flexibility drills. But I was flabbergasted at how much resistance came up. And I said no. Oh my God. It was like, I'm going to get kicked out of here. You know, just no to the guru. And the voice in me is like, how can you be doing this? Dude, this is so wrong. This is so not spiritual. And it's not on the program. And it felt right to say no. And all this flood of stuff came up around how I grew up, which was we moved every few years and into rough neighborhoods and new schools and getting beaten up because I'm the new kid, and then finally getting broken into that realm and then have to move again and start over. And in high school, it was horrible. All the social groups were all formed. I was the new guy. I was a loner. So that formed a whole strategy in my life of aloneness. So all this came flooding up, and my no was important to include the resistance. And then it all changed. It was like, okay, you don't have to move. I started to move. Actually, I was going to move into the trailer, but you know, when it gets windy in there and I'm on a call, everything's shaking. So I'm like, do I really want to move here? But I'm doing it. And then I got the call, okay, you don't have to move. And then Agni Priti got the gift of that place. Thank you, Agni Priti. And then something broke, but it really broke. After I had allowed it, after I had included it, the resistance, like something cracked. All that stuff came flooding and I got to feel it. And then something opened, and that's when I was like, okay, whatever. So let's play the next clip, please, 3.
I mean, there's many ways to language this. This is one that's useful to know. The will to open and make plastic the physical consciousness and nature. Rejection of the movements of the lower nature. Rejection of the mind's ideas, opinions, preferences, habits, constructions, so that the true knowledge may find free room in a silent mind. Rejection of the vital natures, desires, demands, cravings, sensations, passions, selfishness, pride, arrogance, lust, greed, jealousy, envy, hostility to the truth, so that the true power and joy may pour from stupidity, doubt, disbelief, obscurity, obstinacy, pettiness, laziness, unwillingness to change, tamas, so that the true stability of light, power, ananda, may establish itself in a body growing always more divine. Surrender of oneself and all one is and has, and every plane of the consciousness and every movement to the divine and the Shakti. He knows what we're talking about. The mother book is a terrific aid to be in remembrance of where you put your will. That where you put your will, where it serves the ego, you will diminish your access. Even if it's the negative ego that thinks the only justification of her existence is, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve to exist. Shame becomes a strategy of ego to keep in existence. Or as it will, where I'm so great, I'm so powerful, people are ignorant and stupid and I'm the only one who knows better. Both of these are the same creation, a strategy to get or a strategy to avoid, basically. And when you can find that strategy in yourself, you can begin to dismantle it. So we talked about shame yesterday, and the issue of shame is a strategy of the ego to keep in existence, to avoid existence. There's a whole list, a litany of things from someone who really knew her shame. That was an addendum to that conversation to begin to explore how you use shame to avoid existing, to avoid having to meet life, to be right about this isn't where I should be. See, we find these, and then we dismantle their truth. We quit believing them. We quit following their dictates. We quit responding and reacting or judging life from that paradigm.
I remember Satri talking about shame as such a powerful doorway because the ego will do anything to avoid it. It seems like to the ego annihilation. It reinforces the self-annihilation that shame is. And the ego tries to subvert that by having any attention on the actual terrible feeling that shame is, actually including it, coming in relationship with it. When the last 6th day was happening, we were preparing for what our small group was going to share. And I had an idea of something that was kind of dear to me, a certain exercise. And it became clear, and it became clear also from Satri that, we weren't going to do that. And I felt like, I just went into this deep shame. And I just kept sitting in it and breathing into the sensation of deep annihilation that shame feels like. And then it opened. And it opened, and it opened. And I went through about 3 days after that where I felt like I was floating in this spaciousness, in this emptiness of this shame burden I've been carrying. So to me, the hallmark of my ego is that need to be right. And to hold the energy, even of being right, that energy that wants to assert itself, to hold that is the inclusiveness that cracks me open each time. And I've seen miracles from that. So let's flip forward, please.
So it is a rejection. It's a refusal to continue to give your consent. So those things may exist, but you refuse to let them shape and decide what's possible for you. And you can't do that yourself. You could only align your will to something greater that will then do it for you. That's the power of your intent when you awaken. You can intend miracles, and the force will come in and bring you from that which couldn't imagine a miracle to that which is miraculous. If you could keep aligned with that intent, if you could organize your outer life so that your intent becomes real. And what is that intent? Intent is to be found. It's not something we declare, although declaring it helps sometimes to get to it. The intent is to come into existence more fully, aligned with something greater than yourself. to serve the purpose of existence, the evolutionary unfolding of the possibility of life. And if you want to think about that, it's every new birth brings forward the possibility. Hold a kitten. Hold a child. You feel the tangible quality of that innocence as a possibility. We return to our innocence in this process. We turn to the purity of our being, where we could do no wrong. And it's not something we think or imagine or wish for. It is an evidence to you that everything you're doing is serving. Even that which you would judge as not serving serves in this paradigm. So the aligning of our will with Divine's will converts our will into Divine's will, and that becomes a divine life. Okay.
Even that which is judged as not serving serves. So this is an all-inclusive resort. And when I started reading chapter 2, it was like, okay, this is a real downer, this chapter. And I hope this recontextualizes it a little bit for everyone. The power of our attention, the greatest commodity we have, and the price we pay for anything that matters is the attention we give it. So as we've recontextualized our attention and we reconnect to our capacity to attend, let's play the clip 5, please.
This now is timeless. It means that whatever comes to you will stay with you forever. The unique thing of aligning of our attention is we open ourselves to a possibility that is timeless when we gather with this purpose. The ability of us human beings to focus and organize their attention for a purpose as we're exploring in these next 5-6 days is a very powerful convergence of forces that each of us have a role to play in creating.
Embodying the Supreme, manifesting in immediacy as love and truth, we birth a new humanity.